Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the movie installment. About to review a Sylvester Stallone film. It says Rocky and Rambo star Sylvester Stallone gives fans another reason to stand up and cheer. He stars as hard luck big rig trucker Lincoln Hawk and takes us under the glaring Las Vegas lights for all the boisterous action of the World Arm Wrestling Championship in Over the Top, co-scripted by Sylvester Stallone. Relying on wits and willpower, Hawk tries to rebuild his life by capturing the first prize money, and the love of his son, played by David Mendenhall. And he abandoned years earlier into keeping into the keeping of his rich, ruthless father-in-law, played by Robert Loga. He matches muscles with some of the game's gargantuan greats and grips you tightly in a rousing finale in a crowd-pleasing Rocky style. Grab hold for rip-roaring fun. Couldn't have described this film better. It's a very fun film to watch. Your first reaction is an arm wrestling film. Really? 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 Well, I say yes, really, Miz. An arm wrestling movie. And in fact, it's an arm wrestling movie that, in my opinion, gets 2 thumbs up. Because it is a good film. Over the Top is a good movie about a father and son who are on a big rig trip to Las Vegas where the father is going to compete in this um, arm wrestling championship to try to win some money. And I'm not going to spoil it, but it's a very good film. They show this arm wrestling tournament in it, and really, you don't think that's something a lot of people would go to, but there was actually a lot of people in the stands at the end of the movie. I was very surprised that first time I watched it, actually, I watched it with my father, and he sat me down and he said, "This is a good movie. It's rated PG, so it's okay for you to watch." I was very young at the time, and said it's about arm wrestling, and I'm like, "It's about arm wrestling? You mean that thing that me and Justin do? Justin being my brother, of course." He said yes. So we sat down, and this was right after I had watched Rocky. And the first thing I said, I guess, "That's Rocky, Dad. That's Rocky." I mean, even back then, when I was probably 5 or 6 years old, I think, when I first watched this movie, and back then I thought it was really good, and I still think it's a really good movie. So actually, this is actually my dad's copy of the film on DVD, of course. When he sat me down to watch it, it was on HBO, and the movie came out in 1987. I was only 2 years old then, and then a few years later, he sat me down and he said, "You're old enough to watch this. There's nothing wrong with the film. It's a very good film." Probably one of the only movies my dad used to watch with me growing up. And I actually enjoyed the movie as a child. I enjoyed it as an adult. It's a good film. I highly suggest if you have a boy, sit down with him and watch this movie. It's a very good movie, Over the Top. That's Stallone there with the pose. And then, of course, you see the big rig truck and it's running into this car. It's been a while since I've seen this film, though. So here's the DVD. Let's open it up. The artwork. Wow. The DVD looks exactly like the cover does. They did that a lot back in the day. This was released by Warner Brothers, Warner Brothers does a lot of good movies, and Over the Top is just an example of the good movies that Warner Brothers does. And it's a really good film. It also stars Susan Blakely, and it's directed by I hope I'm saying this right, Menahem Golan. Um, I don't know what else he directed really, or she. I think it's a he. Type of movie it is. I bet it's a he. Menahem. Of course, that's not a name you hear a lot, so it's really hard to tell if that's a woman or a man that directed this film. I think it was a man, but Sylvester Stallone also was one of the writers of the film, along with Sterling Silliphant. They wrote this film together. Back then, Sylvester Stallone was just starting to get involved behind the scenes. He also would go on to write such films as The Expendables, which was a great film. Over the Top, though, is a Stallone classic in my opinion, along with Rocky and Rambo, of course. Rocky, Rambo, and Over the Top are probably his three most recognizable films of the 80s anyway. Of the 80s and 70s. Rocky came out in 76. Obviously, but Over the Top was a great film. I highly suggest you pick this up if you can find it, because it's a very old movie. You might not be able to find it anymore. You might have to actually go on Amazon.com. I'm not sure whether or not this is available on Blu-ray. I can check real quick, though. It might actually be coming out next year, because next year is the 25th anniversary edition of the film. So they might have a Blu-ray coming out next year. I'm going to look it up here on the Blu-ray site real quick for you guys who own Blu-ray players. Over the Top 1987. Actually, it is on Blu-ray. It came out September 8th, 2009. So yes, Over the Top is out on Blu-ray. Yeah, Over the Top, great film. I highly suggest that you get it. Like I said again. And for now, goodbye for the Movie Emporium. I'll see you next time for the 15th installment. Don't know what I'm going to review yet, but I'm going to do that here shortly.